So what's being suggested here is it's like a continuation actually of what was being spoken about in the breakout room. Interesting conversations. Um, so this is the impersonal emptiness, that which never changes, which is immovable. So what seems to be happening is there's this um, changes, the one that passes, the one that moves. Um, is there any form, a thought, or feeling that is infinite? Nope. Is there anything that is experienced that's infinite? No, not really. Everything is constantly changing. The experience of bliss, the experience of emptiness, the experience of frustration, the experience of as Jonathan was mentioning it, is the changing in the apparent impersonal emptiness, that which never changes. So all at once there's this impersonal emptiness and the seeming changing appearance, the constantly changing ups and downs, the constantly, beginning or ending relationships that's happening, you, me, them, other, are all impermanent. There's never been an I that's permanent. There's never been a you that's permanent. There's never been others that's permanent. There seems to be a lifespan, a beginning or an end. So in this appearance of forms, thoughts, feelings, the ever-changing appearance, the illusion, is what is believed. But belief is also changing. It comes and goes. It believes in one thing and then another, and then it becomes disbelief. But belief and disbelief is just a wheel. Happiness, sadness is also a wheel. Seemingly at times it could be full of blissfulness, happiness, and seemingly at times it could be a loss, anger, sadness, frustration. So seemingly all of this that's mentioned is this ever-changing. This too shall pass. The one that passes, the one that changes, the one that is not constant. So what seemingly is always constant is this impersonal emptiness that appears in every single thing. In everything that's changing, there's this thing that's immovable. When seemingly things appear and disappear, there's this formlessness, emptinessness, non-existence. The emptiness, the empty screen, the blank. And this appearance, togetherness of the seeming fluctuations of what's happening, the ups and downs, the seeking, the giving up, seeking again, giving up, seeking again, is the fluctuation in this immovable stillness. So what seems to happen is there's this stillness, this one without motion, one without any changes, is actually both static and dynamic. It seems to appear in everything, in all forms, in all thoughts, in all apparent characters, in all feelings, in all sensation, yet it never ceases to be itself. It can't change. It can't really separate. It can't really, it's always whole. It's always complete. Yet it appears in everything. Yet is never absent. Um, it's always full and it's always empty. It's very simple, but it's unlimited. It's boundless and it's ever present. But this apparent emptiness or presence is not you. So seemingly in the seeking kind of like, history of apparent individuals, it becomes the center of the universe. It becomes all about me. How do I get free? How do I do this? How do I do this? And seemingly that is the fluctuating. I'm free, I'm not free. How do I find this? And it just goes in circle. Desires, no desires, wanting more desire, getting less desires. Um, it appears to be changing all the time. But what that is the illusion of the I, the me, the center of the universe, the character, the obsession, the suffering, the persistence of this apparent illusion that there is something that I can do about this, that there's something that I can change, although it is immovable, that I can change emptiness to my will, that I can somehow do something about it. There's got to be something other than this stillness. There's got to be something better than this emptiness. But emptiness never changes. It can never ever change. But what changes is the desire to change or not. That desire, that persistence, that frustration, that anger, that happiness, that blissfulness disappears and changes or continues. It morphs, but it's not real. But somehow, what's believed is the not real because it maintains the belief in its own reality. And there's nothing wrong or right about that. There's nothing that can be done about that. It's just what's happening. It's this merry-go-round of seeking and not finding, seeking and not finding. And it can change into different ideas: happiness, sadness. I was so happy last spring, I'm not happy anymore. It just goes back and forth in this seesaw of what's appearance. But when it's seen that this is actually impersonal, emptiness, what is seen is that what never really changes, and all of these fluctuations come and go. It could be ecstatic, it could be erratic. Same thing. It might feel different, but it's the same thing because what also changes is the belief or the feelings of what is. It's not about denying it, not about negating it, because it can't be denied. It's just what's happening because what cannot be negated is something that doesn't even exist. So what seems to be happening, like the weather outside, perfect for this analogy, is this fall that's coming for people that are in the Western countries. There seems to be a feeling of either a welcoming or rejection of it. Either an acceptance, I'm like, oh, I'm looking forward to fall. And some other characters are doesn't like the fall because it means going back into the swing of things of working. The summer is gone, the summer vacation is gone. But what is not seen is the impersonal emptiness that where all of this arises from, a feeling of want and not want, where everything begins and everything also ends. And this impersonal emptiness and everything always changing. So you can actually say that emptiness seemingly, seemingly, seemingly is animating all of this. Seemingly is appearing as all of this impermanence in illusory form, in a dreamlike form. So emptiness is dreaming itself as sadness, as personal sadness, as separation, as speaking. So when it's expressed that there is nothing that ever has changed, there's this sea, there's this flow of changing, but it's also still. It cannot be experienced because no one can experience what is being expressed here because experience always changes. When there's no experiencer, it's just experiencing this apparent motion, this apparent movement of the illusion. It's quite hilarious when you see that everything is just happening on its own. The ups and downs, the here and there, this illusion. It's like this beautiful carnival ride. Everything's singing, everything's moving, but there's this stillness, this impersonal empty stillness that never ceases. It never changes. And but there's no you, so who are you? It's the illusion. It's the story. It's the stories and ups and then there's nothing wrong with you because you're not even there. But you're also synonymous with stillness. But in your stillness, it's impossible to be a you because it's impersonal. So what's being suggested here that everything is already done. Everything is already still. It's finished. There's nothing needed. It's already still. It's already peaceful. It never even started. There's this illusion of ongoing drama, ongoing stories, ongoing this and that. And it's not about depersonalization because there's no person. It's just that seeing that this is just this ongoing spectacle, this ongoing phenomena of something that is absolutely still. If you have any questions, please go ahead. How come this is so simple, but yet I can't understand it? Understanding complexes, it complicates the simplicity of the flow. Understanding tries to arrive at something that it can satisfy, that it can know, that it can arrive to. But when there's an arrival, it misses it. Because it's not in this understanding, because there's no one to understand. Thank you for the question. Hey, Emerson, I've been crying here. Oh no, for quite a while now. It's like I've lost something that I never had. Yeah, this is a loss. This is the absence of the seemingly kind of like held on to ideas of what should be and what could be. So when there's this expectation of what could be, what should be, or what I aspire to be and what I long for, of the idea of what this should be, then when it's seen that there's really nothing to gain. This is not a gain, this is a loss. But it's a loss of something that you never had. It's usually a loss of beliefs, a loss of the belief that there was a you in the first place. But when it's seen, it's actually an absence of everything. I usually hear people that usually grieve the absence of everything. Thank you, Emerson. So much clarity here. Thank you for saying that it's impersonal. I used to think everything was personal. Yeah. That seems to be the case in a lot of characters, is because there's this personalization of what is. This is what my experience is. This is what it feels like, and this is what I want. And it doesn't even notice that when it's seen, what's being expressed is the moment that the I enters the picture of the narrative, then it separates it from the wholeness. There's nothing wrong or right about that. So stillness could not be recognized by movement person, and stillness did not need anything, no anything. Can you expand on that, Johannes?
Yeah, this as soon as the, did you hear me well?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah.
It looks like a brilliant question, but I got tripped at the end there. So if you
Yeah.
can just express, yeah.
Um, that's the end of a need to for anything. That's as soon as there's some form of need of have to know anything appear, duality appear. When there's this need or this need for to know anything collapse, and there's nothing there anymore.
Yeah, there's this seemingly kind of like this neurotic seeking, this
Yeah.
energetic and like contraction of a need to know, need to get there, all of this stuff. And that's also just this apparent kind of like contracted um, you know um energy, you know what I'm saying, when there's just this boundlessness, there's just this openness, this open stillness, let's call it open stillness or open emptiness, where nothing is needed and everything is allowed to come. So the next time it rises, it's kind of like I like using the analogy of the neurotic characters like a pathological liar that keeps on creating this, I need that, and everything. It's kind of like a friend that always lies, and then when you see that it's all a lie, then you don't believe it anymore. There's less seriousness about it. There's like less kind of like, okay, yeah. It will still come up, but there's no more energetic. There's no more kind of like personal kind of like stuff. It becomes something that, okay, that's what's happening too. It's not taken seriously anymore. Like before, like I was explaining earlier, when I was seeking, when I was not getting it, I'm like, maybe I have to move to London and put up a tent outside Tony's house or something, or kind of like walk around. So that narrative of getting something, or the narrative of a future tense, I will get this, it gets cut, and it's seen that it's just there's no time. So there's no time. This is already it. This is already eternity. This is already the stillness that everyone longs for. It's just not the idea of what stillness appears to you. Meaning it's not a personal idea of what emptiness should be.
Yeah.
It's yeah,
Yeah.
it's not um it's not your recognition of what stillness is. It what's always is. Because when you recognize it, you know what I'm saying, then it becomes a state. So it's not a state or not a an acquiring, right? But there's a belief of acquiring it, getting it. You know, I need to get, I want to get enlightened, I want to awaken and everything. And there's this, it's always been awakened already. It's already still. It's already, I'm just using words, but there's no word for it. It's already aliveness. So even that personal, desire to find aliveness is also aliveness. Everything is already awake. There's no opposite to it. Everything is already undivided. And even the trying to figure out by Johannes, this is already it. Any thoughts that come out is already empty. But it
Yeah.
appears as, it appears as seeking, it appears there's just this energy, right? So when there's no more energy of this contracted energy of trying to figure things out, what appears is just, oh, it's just emptiness. Oh, wow, it's just emptiness. It's not even calling it that. It's just there's this seeming recognition that everything is already all right. Everything is a play. Everything is an illusion. The gig is up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Strangely enough, it's I hear this message and it's quite clear. Okay, everything's empty. There's no time. That's completely clear. And there's no person here. There's appearance of character, okay, but there's no person here. Because where is it? It's a change shifter all the time. It changes this. It's like this and it's like this. There's nothing fixed in here. Um, but it comes up again and again. I think, yeah, but
Yeah, the but is also it's again it's the ups and downs, right? The kind of like,
yeah,
oh yeah, I got it. No, 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 I don't get it. But oh, okay. That's the fluctuation on the still sea of emptiness. That's the static in a clear channel. So if that static is just really noise in silence. It doesn't really matter, right? Because sometimes, you know what, I was talking to someone about this. So sometimes this person said that it's really clear and really kind of like, wow. And then sometimes a sea of confusion comes. Like, it's the ups and downs. It's the apparent experiencing, because how will you know stillness if there's no confusion? How will you know clarity if there's no distraction? It's the opposites, right? It's how can you find happiness when you've never been sad?
yeah.
Yeah.
It
So it's
gives
the
it.
opposites. Yeah, it's this fluctuating back and forth. You know what I'm saying? It's maintaining the illusion that this is reality. For this reality to appear and to happen, there is going to be some opposites. Because,
Yeah.
for example, if I hold a headphone, you know what I'm saying? There has to be a subject and object. Otherwise, you know what I'm saying? Or to be able to talk to you, this voice coming out and you listening to it, that's duality already. But the duality is the illusion in this non-duality.
Yeah.
Non-duality and duality are both illusions.
So what I or a way to understand or try to understand is it's everything is energy. Energy could appear as any form, but energy itself is empty. There's
It's
nothing behind
boundless
it.
energy. Yeah, yeah,
It's completely boundless and could,
yeah,
even if there is anger, if there's understanding, if there it's just energy
yeah. It's just energy. Yeah, it's
playing
just
it.
it's just energy. Yeah.
But somehow it's really strange because it feels so personal sometimes.
Well,
Oh,
the
that's me.
if the illusion of this boundlessness, of this emptiness is going to be, the infinity is going to have an illusion, then it's going to be a perfect illusion, of course.
Yeah,
It's going to
yeah,
feel absolutely real. Otherwise, it's not worth it. it's not, it doesn't make sense, you know what I'm saying? If this illusion is just if you can walk through walls and fly through the air, you know what I'm saying? And it's this illusion of pain and pleasure, this illusion of right or wrong, good or bad, is the maintenance of this wondrous, stunning experience of the one that can't experience. So this illusion of experiencing has to be kind of like hot or cold, sweet or sour, because it doesn't. It's impossible. This is the impossibility happening. This is not possible. This happening right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you just take the factor that time is an illusion, how is talking happening if time is an illusion?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's weird.
And you can never figure it out. You will never figure it out,
Yeah,
right? No.
yeah, because when this appearance is an illusion, more or less, the illusion couldn't figure anything out. It's quite
Yes.
clear.
Yeah,
I mean,
because if it figures something out, it will also be an illusion.
yeah,
Yeah. So when I hear now, because I was so convinced, you know what I'm saying, about 10, 12 years ago, that I figured it out. And then when I started seeing that, oh wow, it's also an illusion, I could, it fell apart, right? I thought that I was in a state of bliss, or maintenance of that. But that's just an illusion, because what is kind of like, what? You could be as enlightened as you want, you know what I'm saying? But when your mother is in the hospital, falling, or when you're someone that you love dearly, you know what I'm saying, is it's gonna feel real.
yeah.
It's gonna feel absolutely real. The separation will feel absolutely painful, because it is this perfect illusion of separation. It's kind of like if somebody hammers your fingers, you're gonna feel pain.
So would you say when,
It's
I
kind of
mean,
like
sure,
kind of like even in a nighttime dream, if someone dies in a nighttime dream, you're gonna bawl your eyes out.
yeah, sure,
Yeah, yeah, it feels absolutely real, but both are unreal.
yeah.
Yeah,
But when Emerson falls away, there was no Emerson.
yeah, yeah.
But I mean, everything happening, sadness happening, whatever. But there, this identification falls away, right?
The sadness happens, but there's no longer anyone that's sad, right?
Okay,
There's no more kind of like latching on to this, to this merry-go-round of story of like, oh, why am I sad? I should not be sad. I'm so sad. It's just all of this, fluctuation, all of this noise in silence. So silence is sad.
yeah,
Emptiness is sad. It's direct now. There's no more filters. There's no more
yeah,
kind of like static, or there's no more extra stuff. And when that, when that's seen, that it's just this, it's whole. It doesn't dream of self in dreams anymore. It's just whole. It's just complete.
yeah,
Yeah, if it's sad, it's gonna be sad. There's nothing wrong or right about it. If it's sometimes anger happens, you know what I'm saying, for no reason at all. You know what I'm saying? For example, if I was walking around, you know what I'm saying, I was walking my dog earlier, and someone doesn't take their poop, doesn't pick up their poop, and I stepped on it. I'm like, somebody should be better dog owners. That's what's happening too. But it's just
okay,
an instant reaction. All of this instant reaction is temporary. What this is, not pointing to you or me, is impersonal stillness. It's emptiness.
and it's
It's an empty
already the case.
field where everything
Yeah.
dances.
And it's already the case for everyone.
It is, yeah. It is. I don't
But
see
we,
any separation here. Yeah, I don't even see
yeah,
anyone here.
yeah.
Yeah. It's just emptiness. Yeah.
But it appears real, more or less. Yeah,
It appears as real,
yeah,
separation, but it's like it's kind of like, I like this analogy of the Santa Claus. When you believe in Santa Claus as a kid, and then you don't even know when you lost the belief of Santa Claus. So every time that Christmas comes, there's Santa Claus. You just see it as a character. So I refer to this as a character now. It's just a character. It's just something that is just, it doesn't have any choice in speaking about this. There's seemingly a passion speaking about this, and there's absolutely There's never been anyone in the history of this. It's just a happening.
A really strange thing. I hear the Santa Claus story several years ago, and I thought, okay, when is the case, there's no self. And if I understand it, I accept it, no worries about
Yeah,
that, there's no self.
yeah.
Not that then the story should be over. But the story goes on. I thought,
Well, yeah. It
strange.
there's a rerun.
Yeah.
Again, the illusion is a very persistent one, right? That it will keep on persisting. It will keep on persisting. The moment you wake up, there's this, Emerson has to go shower, that kind of thing. But it's just a happening. There's no more
Yeah.
Emerson's just showering happening or whatever. It has a meeting or something. It's like what you believe to be who you are is just kind of like an app. It's like an Alexa or a Siri that just rises up, automatically comes up. You know what I'm saying? It's just this, but there's no more weight to it anymore. It's not
Yeah.
believed anymore. It's just seen as like a Santa Claus. It's seen as a character. It's seen as a um, of this formless appearing as form.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So somehow this infliction as the story goes on. That's really strange because it's not real. It's not real. But
yeah, but you're trying to figure it out.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. If you figure it out, then what you're going to figure out is also another illusion. So the illusion can figure out the illusion because all it can do is illusory.
yeah,
Yeah. The dream can't, undo the dream because it's in the dream.
yeah.
Yeah. So
The dream
anyone
corrected. Yeah.
yeah, anyone that thinks that they're outside of the dream is just a delusion. It's just a contradiction. It's just a depersonalization or something of something. Yeah, it's
And
BS
also
basically.
that what the people I think call as glimpses never had one. That's also a story. It's also just
It's just a
illusion.
story. It's just an illusion as well. Yeah, it's just an illusion. It's this the moment that it's told, the moment that it's processed, then it becomes a story. This is my glimpse now. I had a
Yeah,
glimpse. Although it will say that, there was no me, but it's still being expressed through a story of something that happened to me. And there's nothing wrong or right about that. Glimpses, the only glimpse, really, the only thing that's actually impermanent, which is, people say it's the glimpse, it's the opposite. You are the glimpse.
yeah. That's really tricky because when
Yeah.
you think you get it more or less, it's also
Yeah.
an illusion.
It's like the opposite, right? This is, as it is, and you're the glimpse. But seemingly, when you have a glimpse, you seemingly see that this is eternity, but it's
Yeah,
always eternity, and you're the glimpse. And there's glimpses of you all throughout the day. There's a glimpse of you when you're listening to this message. When, for example, when someone that there's no one here, and then the Johannes will say, "Well, I still feel that I'm here." That's a glimpse. And then it disappears again when there's something that's being expressed that is resonating really, really well. You're like, oh, wow, there's a resonance here, right? I can't quite put a finger on it, can't quite figure it out. And then there's a word, for example, that will be said that there is no self. And they're like, but I still feel that I'm here. And it keeps on going. Or sometimes, Johannes is doing something that it loves. It loves cooking, cleaning, singing, dancing, whatever. And there's no Johannes there. And then before it goes to sleep, it thinks about, oh, what am I going to do together? Oh, I'm still here. Oh, damn it. Goes to sleep, this sleep, there's no Johannes there. So the glimpses appear all throughout, but seemingly it's missed because it pays attention. The one that's paying attention is the glimpse,
yeah.
is the
That's really
illusion.
strange. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. You say that the emptiness is impersonal, but the body or form is maybe personal. There's actually nothing really personal. Even body or form, there's an illusion. There's an illusion of this solidity that's appearing. The moment that you go to sleep at night, all of that solidity and all of this personal stuff vanishes completely. So it's always emptiness. It's always impersonal. There's a personal experience of the illusion that this is happening to me, that this is going on, that this is, this is real and everything. But everything that is changing, belief, ideas, feelings, sensations, body, is an illusion. Thank you, Emerson. I just had a glimpse here that there's no one glimpsing at all. That was potent, but can you repeat that again, Emerson? So I can have a glimpse. Ah, no, it lost its magic already. it's it's trying to understand something that cannot be understood. But I'll try to repeat it anyway. So what seems to be happening is there's these glimpses that people seem to be really it becomes this. It's like the gateway drug to this. It kind of becomes the first kind of like a. It becomes the first high, and it's seeing that in a glimpse that there's no one. But let me put an opposite take to it, that the one that's glimpsing it is actually the actual glimpse, meaning that the glimpser is the one that's actually that is temporary. What's being glimpsed is the permanence. It's always the permanence, it's always the emptiness, it's always the stillness. But seemingly there's an understanding that I glimpsed it. But the one that's saying the one that's glimpsing it actually is the temporary. Boom. Hello, Emerson. Thank you so much for this meeting. I'm really enjoying it. I think that you have evolved this communication to a clearer understanding. There's no one really here that evolved anything because this communication cannot be communicated. There's this joyfulness here. That's just a story. That's just a story. But thank you, thank you, thank you. Or is it the good looks that have evolved? Yes, that's the one. feeling happy, confusion, gratitude, and joy here. Laughing feels good for now. Hi, Emerson. Thank you for doing this again. I feel less sticky now. It's like taking a shower finally. Are you the alarm clock in their dream? There's no dreamers, Marcy. But lay off the snooze button. Just kidding.
Oh, the snooze button. Oh God.
Hi, Petra.
Ah, the snooze button. But no one there who's pressing the snooze button, right?
No, it's just a joke.
Oh, no, no,
There's
no, no.
well, there's this snooze button is usually when there's the beliefs come in again, right? That this is happening to me, that this is something that is substantial, this is something serious. It 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 forgets to laugh at the joke.
Yeah,
That this is really just this appearance of seriousness, this
right.
appearance of whatever seems to appear. So when it's seen that this is just a dream, when it believes that the dream is absolutely real, it believes in reality, then it tries to keep on pressing the snooze button when it doesn't like the dream. I'm out, but it
Mhm.
can't, and it creates this apparent suffering that there's something that that I need to wake up from.
Yeah, the illusion tries to get rid of tries to
Yes.
get out of the illusion.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
there's going to be illusory sadness, illusory frustration of something that is trying to get, but it cannot get because what getting is just another illusion.
The snooze button. Oh. The snooze button and the kiddie car in the mall. Oh. Mm. This is really frustrating.
It is. It is. It is, but frustration is not permanent. This will pass.
Mm.
Everything that is held on to, everything that you think that is happening, passes. So there's no need to press the snooze button because it will just pass. It's already awake. Frustration is also awake. It's
But
all aliveness.
I'm an
But
expert in stretching out the suffering.
that's right. But that's another story, see? That's okay though. There's nothing wrong or right about that. It's just what's happening. Um, but there's nothing to wake up from because no one ever slept. There's this idea that there's something that I can get, something that if I only wake up, if I only, if I if somebody takes away this snooze button, then I'll be awake.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not afraid of this going up and down, but this neurosis. Ugh.
Yeah, it's just what's happening as well. If we stop, well, there's no one us no stopping anything. If there is a cessation of stopping of labeling things, um, and it's seeing that the stopping and and whatever seems to happen is just unlabeled.
Mhm.
It's just emptiness appearing
Yeah,
as form, right? Appearing as
yeah,
this frustration, appearing as that, and it's all right.
yeah. That's a good one. The
Yeah.
labeling and the judging makes it.
The judging, yeah, I should be
Mhm.
here, I should not be here, or you know what, I should be at this place already. I was so
Mm,
good last summer or last spring, and then I don't know what's happening, but there's no last spring.
mm. Yeah.
There's an idea of last spring.
Quack, quack, quack.
I know. The puppy is quite attached right now. It's so in love with his dad. You know what I'm saying? It's just when they're dad. It's kind of like you can't even leave. It has this separation anxiety, right?
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
she doesn't know that the dad is not even here. Because it feels absolutely real. I'm gonna let it
Yeah.
in just a second, okay?
Mhm. Yeah. Separation anxiety. Yeah. I know that very well. Mm. Is it warm where you are, Laura?
Of course, the dog is smiling right away when I open the door. So cute. But if you see the light tumbling down, that means my puppy attacked the light again. But yeah, there's nothing that can be changed of something that's already what is, right? Trying to get rid of the frustration just brings more frustration, doesn't it? Trying to change what is just brings about this apparent resistance to it.
I was even crying at the end of the last day of Tony's live meeting.
Oh
And yeah, and
yeah.
he also said, no, it never ends. It never
It never
started. It
ends,
never
yeah.
ends. Hmm.
Yeah. When was Tony's last meeting? Was it in the
The
spring? No, just
no, no, no.
lately, or just
Yeah,
just passed. Yeah, I was supposed to be there, but
yeah, I
I
know.
couldn't. Yeah, I already have tickets, but I couldn't. Yeah,
Mhm.
next time. I think he's going back to Munich, right? So yeah, we'll see. Actually, no, I'm going to be in Vancouver, so I can't.
Mhm.
Next time,
Next
I'll
spring.
I'll be there in January. So, but yeah, it's all of this seeming kind of like ups and downs, ups and downs. It's just a play. It's just a play, and so what if there's sadness? It passes. But when you're in the
Mm,
midst of it, when you think that you're, having this sadness, it kind of like what you said, it stretches it.
mm.
It stretches the narrative that I am sad, I am the moment, because again, you know what, the separation is just the maintenance that this is real.
Yeah,
So
and
although there's no more reason to be sad, you know what I'm saying, it keeps on maintaining it in a story. It becomes its
mm,
identity.
mm,
Yeah.
mm,
It's kind of like the puppy, kind of like going until you open the door. It's just a reaction.
mm.
Yeah. But the moment I opened the door, the smile came up right away. It's like manipulative. Puppy. So cute though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
There's nothing wrong already. There's no problems already. The problem seems to be the making the unreal real.
Mhm.
And there's no one choosing that as well.
because it becomes so overwhelming.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
it's the that it,
It's
the
the highs and
strong.
lows of seeking, right? There's this, there's this kind of like, oh, you know what? I saw Tony, you know what I'm saying? And there's this, or it could be frustration seeing Tony too, you know what I'm saying? And then it's just whatever seems to arise. It's just this up and down, um, or I remember the last time, you didn't want this to end the 5 day one. You're like, oh, it's already 5 day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nothing is permanent, right? The only thing that's permanent is nothing. Nothing is permanent, and the only thing that's permanent is nothing. And there's just this. I used to be the same though. I used to kind of like. It's almost like I have this like addiction. You know what I'm saying? I would go seeking, and I would go to these retreats. I would fly, and then it would be either be a big letdown, or it could be this euphoric kind of like, oh wow, you know what, this is it and everything, and there's going to be a letdown. So it's always going to be up and down. It's like a drug. um so what's being offered here, what's being expressed here, that this is sobriety, that whatever seems to appear, it could be just a withdrawal of trying to get something that already is. There's no need to do anything or to wish for anything at all, because it's already this, it's already here, it's already complete. It keeps on presenting itself over and over again, but there's this rejection because it thinks that frustration is not it. But what's being presented here, that frustration is also emptiness, appearing as frustration. That duality, that seeming kind of like play of duality of this and that, is actually wholeness. That there's nothing wrong with it. It's just what is. In the apparent frustration, there's this emptiness, impersonal emptiness, that is coming along with this frustration. It's just what is. And it loves itself so much that it can appear as frustrated. It's going to love it unconditionally anyway, because there's no one there. It only sees itself as unconditional love. Even if it rejects it. That's also it. I'm going to use a Tony as similar. The beloved can't leave, even in frustration. The beloved is always present. Even in sadness, even in fears, even in frustration, it's always present. It can never leave. Because the beloved is the perfect lover. It's unconditional. Thank you, Petra. Hi, Emerson. How come this meeting seems more potent than the last one? I've been crying here. What are you doing? It's the same if there's something spoken or not, there's going to be just this silence that appears as words. There's nothing being offered here, so it's just what is. There's seemingly perception about what's happening. Some perceiver would absolutely kind of like resonate with this. There's also different perceivers that is not going to resonate as much, but it is what is. But there's also no other perceivers. It's just what's happening. There's no one doing anything here for anyone. Thank you, though. Hi, Emerson. Is there a difference with watching this live or just online on YouTube? I seem to be getting a lot of resonance with the live. Um, and there's no one here via live or non-live. Can you say it all again? It does feel like a drug a bit right now. Why is that? Is that another story? Yes. Would you please explain the real and unreal story again? Yeah, sure. Um, Both real and unreal are stories. There's nothing real, there's nothing unreal. But seemingly in this appearance of what we call disappearance of life, disappearance of reality, there seemingly is this appearance of this ever-changing situations like frustrations, gladness, um, peacefulness, happiness, sorrow, sadness, whatever seems to be fluctuating. It could be a change in situation of our um, apparent personal life. There could be, struggle, you know what I'm saying, with financial stuff, or there could be an abundance of financial stuff. It could be problems with relationships. It could be just this harmonious relationship. So the unreal is the changing, is the it's kind of like thoughts, forms, situations, happiness, sadness, um, and the real, the apparent real, is just the emptiness where all of this arises from. So the unreal real is the emptiness, is the form and the formless happening all at once. Is the emptiness and the fullness appearing simultaneously. Is the happening and the unhappening at the same time. But what's not seen is that this unreal real feels, absolutely real, but it's also not real. It's like having a dream at night, and it feels absolutely real that there's separation, that there's something lacking, there's something missing. And then in a moment of awakeness, it's always awakeness, by the way, and it's seeing that when there's awakeness, when there's this collapse of that illusion, that there's something really happening, something going on for real, then everything that's believed to be real disappears and appears again. Seemingly can, like, oh, what do I have to do for breakfast now? What do I have to do now? I have to check my bank account now. I have to do some shopping or whatever seems to appear. So the unreal is always fluctuating, is always changing. Again, the real is the only thing that never changes. The unreal is the seemingly constantly changing. Um, Sometimes, I'm saying, the unreal lasts longer. Sometimes frustration will be like, oh, I've been frustrated now for 10 days. But I had this momentary bliss for 2 days, that kind of thing. So what's being expressed here is what you can measure is unreal. What's immeasurable is the unreal. It's very simple. What you can think of is unreal. When you're not thinking, it's real. But both are stories. Is that okay, Julie? Are we in an... Oh. Oh, you can't see my picture. Can you see the picture now, Julie? Sorry. I'm not sure why. Are you seeing me right now,
Hello.
Julie? Hello, Julie.
Hello, darling.
Hello.
July.
Oh, July.
Yes. No, I can't see your picture.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
And the others?
uh, can you guys see my picture? Yeah, they
Yes,
can.
yes.
Oh, can't see your beautiful face.
Oh, now you're enlightened.
So
I'm
then
just
I
kidding.
need to quit and can enter again, or?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank
Okay,
you.
okay,
Thank you very
July.
much.
Thank you.
Tone.
Are we in a nighttime dream right now? There's no we. There's no nighttime. There's no daytime. Seemingly, this is like a dream. It's the unreal and real appearing simultaneously, meaning it feels absolutely real, but it's like a dream. Damn, Kane goes. My puppy's so behaved right now. went for a 10K run this morning. That's why. When your friends ask you what's non-duality, where do you begin? Number one rule of non-duality: you don't talk about non-duality. Number two rule about non-duality: you don't talk about non-duality. I'm just kidding. When they're being earnest, when they're when it's kind of funny when they seem to ask about this question, there's actually only a couple of people that really ask, and one of them was just really, really curious because he has not seen me in 8, 9 years or something, and I've told the story many times before. So when there was this curiousness and openness to it, there was a seeing that there's no non-duality, and there's no one in non-duality. That's it. But when there is yeah, it's not often talked about. They just ask me if I always get laid because I have this smile on my face. No one gets laid. Apparently. Or the other ones, what are you on? Nothing. Hey, Kathy.
Hey there.
Hello.
Out in the sunshine now, trying to get some vitamin D.
Nice. It's gloomy here
You know,
in Ontario.
oh, it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful here. It's just been days of just blue sky and bright, bright sun and just soaking it up before it leaves,
Yeah, I was about to say.
when the leaves start dropping and all that stuff starts happening, which I love too. I love that
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
The colors, the fall color.
Oh, the
But
colors.
anyway, yeah. What I was saying, what I was thinking about was, yeah, you fellows call it the apparent body, right?
Yes. Everything
Okay.
is apparent. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's it's what really, makes the unreality so intense.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It is. It is because it's a felt sense of realness.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
felt sense
Mm-hmm.
of realness. It's not
Mm-hmm.
like you walking through walls and no, it's a felt sense
Mm,
of realness. If somebody pushes you, you'll say ouch. If someone
yeah,
pinches you,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. It's that, like you said, everybody wants to get laid. People are always looking for the orgasm, the ultimate, it's the feeling, the physical feeling of good. And most of the well, especially when you get to my age, there's a lot of freaking pains going on, pains you never had before, eyesight, things changing, everything starts changing. The body keeps you connected to this unreal. It keeps pulling you back, you see.
Yeah,
It,
yeah.
if you, you know, but to
Well,
leave the body.
well, the illusion is going to be so persistent, right? And it's going to be persistently real all the time that he would feel, you know, like ails and ailments and the body and all that kind of stuff, and he'll feel like time is real as well. So
Oh, it
there's this
does.
all assault of this, you know, persistent illusion called reality, time, age,
Yeah,
body,
yeah.
you know, everything,
Doctors,
others, doctors,
hospitals,
bills, taxes,
COVID, COVID,
COVID.
vaccinations. You know,
Yes.
it just goes on. I mean, I was watching TV the other night, and they were recommending something like 4 different
Oh,
vaccinations.
wow.
You know, they said you need another booster, you need a flu shot, you need a monkeypox, and you need a whooping cough. I
Oh,
was like, by the
wow.
time you get all that crap into your body, you'll be dead. You know, so it just keeps
It's
pulling, you
it
know, it
is a
just keeps
persistent
pulling you
illusion,
back.
and that what
Yeah.
makes it stunning as well, right? Because when it's seen that this is just an illusion and it's just this apparent, you know, reality, apparently happening to the one that's holding the reality, which is
Which is who?
the you reality, which is an illusion, of course. So everything that it sees is as real is also an illusion. Everything that it sees as real is also unreal. But it's the opposite, actually. The unreal, which is the you, the fluctuating you, the one that goes in and out, is seeing, just seeing. Yeah, it's just seeing. But no one's seeing it. And then we add all of this, you know, a whole bunch of stories about what's being seen. Becomes the seeing, the seer, the seen. It becomes the others and everything, but it's just this wholeness.
But it comes down from an authoritarian statute, if you know what I'm saying. Like you couldn't get on a plane if you didn't have the, you know, certain doctors will say something to you like, well, you know,
Oh,
you know,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well,
you know, it's
what's
an authoritarian kind of thing, and it's coming from the state also.
yeah, yeah. So
So
what's best to kind of like maintain this relationship, to have hierarchies, authority, you know, and whatever. It's just what's happening. But in this apparent dream, as I said, it's going to feel absolutely real. For example, if there's a fire in the house, surely you're going
oh,
to get out and say, it's not. You're not going to say, well, Emerson said nothing's happening and nothing, you know, nothing is there's no one here. Yeah. You catch the drift.
yeah,
Yeah,
of course.
yeah,
It's just like, you know, I'm trying to make the excuse or whatever, for whatever reason you keep getting pulled back. You keep getting pulled back. I mean, you know, even whatever, you just keep getting pulled back. You
yeah.
know, even
It's
if you have a husband or a child, you know,
oh yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
There's a lot of pullback all the time, and it's hard to maintain.
It's not about
You
maintenance
know,
though, right?
yeah.
It's not about the maintenance, because there's all of this. It's kind of like when you're watching the ocean, the water's coming in and out, you know, the shore, you know what I'm saying? The waves are coming in and out. You can't maintain that. It's just what's happening. It's
Yeah.
like the clouds coming in and out, right? There's kind of right now there's clear sky. Maybe later it'll be cloudy and dark
Oh,
skies.
but I mean, that's so easy.
Yeah.
You see, you
But
know,
what's
when
the
you got
difference?
somebody hammering down on your head, you can't really
I get you. I
be and
get you,
watch the
Kathy.
waves roll in and out
Yeah.
forever and be
But
perfectly
it's actually
in.
it's actually the same. You just think
Yeah,
there's just this preference, you know what I'm saying? There's just this
yeah.
belief system that believes that this is real and ignores the
Mm-hmm.
clouds, you know what I'm saying? That's also just happening all by itself. Or the wind that's just blowing by itself. It thinks that it has control about the inside when there's no inside and outside. It's all an appearance. Ta-da!
Mm, yeah. I'd like to say I'd like to just disappear, but then I know better than that.
There's no you to disappear, though. See?
Thanks, Emerson.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Kathy. Susan goes, movie theaters try to enhance the movie experience by adding more sensory input like visual 3D chairs that shake, yeah, rumble and vibrate, and speakers that seem to move sound from place to place. In the same way, in the world, the sixth sense of thoughts and stories implies separation in a sense of me. Yeah. Sometimes I talk about this. Um, it's like this appearance is like a whole bunch of 360 degrees of a blank screen, and all of this appearance is the smell. It's like a really advanced 3D IMAX super giant movie theater that's very immersive, and you're walking walking around it, seemingly that there's others and everybody has this story. It's kind of like this perfect video game, right? That it feels absolutely, it's so immersive you will never be able to tell that it's a video game, but there's no one playing, there's no programming. It's so intricate and it's so intimate that this fantasy, this fantastical, seeming play of light that's not really happening, kind of like a video game. Sometimes I walk in a mall, wow, it's like Sim City. There's a whole bunch of characters moving around, with their own personal stories, but there's no personal stuff. It's just all blank screens. But don't tell that to someone. You're a blank screen. What? Like a blank screen. Leva goes, so there's only free floating energy, which we make personal because we're in this seemingly separate body. There's actually no one choosing to do any of this, right? So this is just the appearance of this apparent happening. There's just this, you can call it floating energy, this boundless energy, which is imagined as something that's personal, although there's no one imagining, maybe contracted as something personal, um, in this seemingly separate body. It's just an appearance, yeah. What a great appearance, though. Wow. Gorgeous. It's uncaused as well, right? So this is the uncaused appearing as a cause.
But you know
Petra.
what's sad? when I heard this message, when I came across this message in the beginning, okay, there's no time.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking. It was just resonance and
Yeah.
ooh, yeah.
Yeah,
Like when
yeah.
you fall in love,
Yeah.
it's not that you think. It's just
Yeah.
you can't describe it. Yeah, and now from I just made it into another concept, and all this was
Yes.
with the movie and the blank screen and the movies playing, and I heard that for 20 years already on the Buddhist path, and I thought
Yeah.
I found
Yeah, well,
something.
yeah. Well, everything is a concept, right? It can only be expressed in a concept. So I'm trying to
Yeah.
upgrade it as, as everything around you is just this blank screen. Everything that is appearing is kind of like this 3D dimensional thing, but it's really nothing. There's no projector. So let's upgrade it a little bit. There's no one projecting it. It's just this appearance. It's like a hologram, but the hologram will not figure out that it's a hologram because it can only interact with holograms. And everything that it will do will be a hologram. So everything that you think, basically what's being expressed here is a hologram, meaning it's not real. Everything that you feel, understand is holographic. It's hollow. But it feels absolutely real because the hologram will never figure out it's a hologram because it thinks it's real.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so what if it feels real? It is what it is. It's the emptiness appearing as whatever is appearing it as.
If it were just clouds, I don't mind. But it feels like a fucking blizzard, and I'm standing naked in the.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah. It if it feels that way, then it's something that is something that it is what it is. But it's just a
yeah,
story as well. It's just a
yeah,
story as well, right? There's really no reality to anything. But imagining that, making that feel real feels real. But as I said, even that feelings or whatever, even if it feels real, it changes all the time.
it changes.
It
Yeah.
changes all the time. So for example, tomorrow you'll wake up with like, oh wow, right? I was talking to someone one on one that's been seeking for 30 years, and it's just, go back and forth doing one on ones with me, and basically kind of like, usually it's like, okay, good, I'm good, and then 2 weeks later again you're like, Emerson, I'm in anguish again and everything, and then finally I think after whatever, there was just saying it was just sitting on a chair and nothing's happening. I just wanted to say thank you. Never did anything but thank you. This is not a personal thing that I can do something. This is something that's already done. This is already that's something that's complete. So even this this frustration of feeling kind of like blistered and everything, that's already a done dream, meaning it never really happened. It's not even happening. But the persistent of it, making it real and true, making it a felt sense of realness, it's what keeps the nightmare alive. It's kind of like you've had this nightmare and everything, and you get up and you can't let it go. So you're walking back and forth in your room thinking that, oh, it's already done. but it
Yeah.
but the suffering is it's like almost like insanity a little bit, right? It's almost like
Yeah.
schizophrenia. It's because
Right.
because there is a sense that none of that is happening, that none of this is reality, that there's really no one in the middle of blizzard shivering naked. It's just this felt sense of realness.
Mhm.
If that felt sense of realness is reality, how come it changes?
Mm.
It's not reality. It's like a dream. It's like a dream at night. There's a dream at night that happens, and it feels absolutely real. It's insane. It's insane.
Mhm.
Um,
It is.
it is, and then you wake up and you're like, sometimes you have to stand up and walk around a little bit, right? Because you can't shake it. You can't shake it. But it is also not real. So there's seemingly kind of like there's no daytime and nighttime. So this is a dream as well. So it's like you're right. The character seems to extend. let's pull this because it wants to end the dream.
Yeah.
Trying to end the dream just prolongs this idea that this is real.
Mhm.
When it's kind of like when there's this, yeah, kind of like this is just a story, kind of like, yeah, putting on the snooze button and let me dream more about this suffering because I like it. Rather than saying that, oh wow, that never really happened, this is not happening. There's this persistence that this is really happening, and it likes it, although it will say that it doesn't like it. Yeah. It's just what is. It's just what is. For example, you know what? When there's just this radical acceptance by no one of what seems to be happening. It doesn't have to be rosy and peachy all the time. It doesn't have to be
No, no,
champagne
no,
and
no, no.
yeah.
Mm.
but there's this persistent frustration about what?
Mhm.
So you have to think about it. It's not there.
Wait, you're gonna come to Germany, and then
Okay, I'll see you there.
I
it
lock
it
you in somewhere.
What's that? Thank you, Petra.
Thank you.
I'll see you at Kiss Leg. You do Kiss Leg, right?
Yeah, in May again, I guess. It's
In May
Kislev
again?
was in August, and
Okay.
I don't know when it's next.
Okay. But I'll be there probably in no, I'm gonna be there January, somewhere in January, and then I go to Australia in February. Yeah.
No, no, looking forward.
Yeah. Likewise.
Thank you.
Thank you. Lori goes, "Wow, could you say that the concepts are not a problem, but the believing the concepts bring the psychological suffering? Everything is going to be this relative conceptual appearance. Everything is just going to be a concept. But when it's seen, yeah, when it's seen that there is no belief anymore in the concept, because what seems to happen is the character maintains its reality by jumping from concepts to concepts to concepts. It only maintains itself conceptually. There's a conceptual me that maintains itself. So psychologically, you know what I'm saying? When there's this suffering, it's a maintenance of that. It's a maintenance of this and that and this and that. Yeah, yeah. So there are no problems. Hi, Emerson. I feel like I'm free falling here. Can I contact you after this session? Yeah, of course. Of course. Kathy,
Yeah. Um,
you look so relaxed there.
yeah, it feels really good. The sun is so hot. It feels so good. How do you, I know you're not there, but what is the expression of gratitude for somebody who's not there?
It's just this appreciation. There's always going to be this felt sense of realness, right? But there's also going to be this seeing that there's no one there. There's this real and unreal happening simultaneously. So there's this gratefulness and appreciation of this apparent thisness, this apparent communication. Yeah, I don't know how to explain it, but there's just this appreciation in doing these meetings, appreciation in walking the dog, appreciation that I'm with my mom. There's contentment. That's a better word. Contentment. There's contentment that there's nothing that's longed for anymore. There's no more seeking energy here. There's just enjoyment. There's no yeah, there's contentment. There's contentment. Yeah, it's like it's finally enough love because it's unconditional. Because it seems
Oh,
like
yeah.
but it seems
Yeah.
like when I was seeking, I was longing for love, from others and all this stuff and self-love, and but it's finally enough love because there's no one, there's no relationships, just this unconditional love appearing as it is.
Wow, that sounds ooh. Woohoo. Wow. No, because as a person, um, in whatever spiritual realm you were in, there was always somehow there was something about it, the expression of gratitude, it's however it was done. I don't know, light a candle, say the rosary, do the mala bead, there was always seva,
Yeah,
there was
yeah.
always, so it's like, I don't know, I can't explain it. There's a feeling of a loss there.
It is. It's
Um,
because I used to do
yeah.
the gratitude journal. But it
Yeah.
just made me miserable. I'm like, I have nothing to be thankful for today. So every day was a reminder, right? Like I would have like five things that I'm supposed to be grateful for. I'm like,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
but it became a practice. It became kind of like it became forced and everything, right? It's like, well, maybe if if I am grateful for today, then I'll bring more gratitude. So it becomes a belief system. That's
Yeah.
what I did. Or if I do seva, you know what I'm saying, that kind of thing, selfless service. There's always an intention behind it. So there's just this contentment for whatever it
Wow.
is. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. All
Yeah.
right. I got to kind of sit with that because
Okay.
it's there's something weird, uneasy again with the gratitude thing.
Yeah,
that's
it's all
missing.
right.
I
It's
don't,
all right, if there's gratitude in helping others. There's nothing wrong or right about that. It's not being
but
some.
even, even to show gratitude to a family,
Oh,
like
that's
you're
perfect.
not there. You're not
Oh,
there.
that's there's this gratitude that what, when my brother cooks something good, I'm like, oh, thank you. There is genuine gratitude for that, but there's just gratitude for the apparent happening. It's not
Yeah.
personalized. It's not like
Yeah. That's what I'm
yeah,
trying to get at. Yeah. It's
yeah.
not personalized.
It's not
Yeah.
personalized. Yeah, it's just what's happening. It's everything is seemingly a reaction to the unreal. The unreal and real reacting
Yes.
seemingly, right? And it's just an
Yeah.
illusion. So there's this there's this appearance of individuals, which is really the unreal appearing as the real appearing as unreal. Does that make any sense? There seems to be separation, so there's someone to be grateful for. But when
Right.
there's when
Right.
there's just no separation at all, there's just gratitude,
Just contentment,
contentment. Yeah,
and gratitude impersonal. It's an
it is. Yeah,
impersonal.
yeah, yeah. There is.
Mm,
Yeah.
hmm, okay.
Thank you.
Thanks. Impersonal.
Hey, Petra.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Okay. The frustration thing.
You're still on
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, of course. 'Cause I thought, wow, I failed.
No, no, no. There's no one that fails there.
Ah,
No one. Yeah, there's no failure because there's no one that failed. There's just this sensation. There's this feeling of realness or whatever, but it's not even real. So it's trying to grasp for a reason that it's a failure, or it's in the that it's frustrated or something, but no one fails because there's no one.
yeah, of course. When you're talking about the contentment, then I also beat myself up. Oh, you should be content. You're such frustrated something.
See how funny it is? You
I
just caught
hate
it.
you. I hate myself
Yeah, it just
for that.
creates this story again, right?
That makes me
That's
relapse.
what it is. It just keeps on creating this story, this narrative over and over again to maintain its reality. But when it's seen that it's just happening on its own, that you had nothing to do with it. You have nothing to do with anything at all. You have no
Say it again.
you have nothing to do with in this at all. There's no you that's doing any of this. There's nothing that you've done wrong. That there's also nothing that you've done right. There's nothing that you are doing right now. There's nothing that you can do or undo. This is pure innocence. It's not nothing should be ashamed of, nothing should be guilty of. There's nothing at all.
Thank you.
It's free and clear already. Yeah.
Thanks.
Kathy, is your hand up back again, or was that from the last time? Okay. Hey, Emerson, can you talk about the me is complete unsatisfaction? That's just another story, right? Because there's no me in the first place. So what seems to happen is just this apparent unsatisfactory thing or frustration thing. You can also say that the me could also be happiness. it could be it could be frustration. It fluctuates, meaning it's not real. It's just happiness, frustration, sadness, unsatisfaction happening. But there's a layer of layer of layer of identity. I am unsatisfied, I am unhappy, I am happy. So the moment that the I am gets attached to it, then it personalizes what's seemingly happening. It actually maintains it. So it's like a maintenance. So when the I am happens, I am happy, so I am maintaining happiness. I am sad, it's also maintaining sadness because it doesn't have an identity. it keeps on it keeps on latching onto this apparent um unrealities to make itself real. It's not really happening. Thank you, Vicenzo. If you want to add to that, please do. July goes, before hearing this message, I have been feeling myself pretty empty, but at the same time happy or sometimes sad. Though I thought I was totally insane. So feeling empty is the real and real happening. There's no feeling to it at all, but it is kind of like a real and unreal happening and happening. If you want to add to that, July, please go ahead. We'd love to hear you. Actually, that's pretty good. Hi, July.
Yeah, hi.
Hi,
Just
hi.
as just as I've written, I just felt myself totally empty,
Yeah.
and in the same time, sometimes very happy, sometimes
Yes.
frustrated, sometimes sad. And I thought, my
Yes.
God, now I thought maybe I have depression, but if I have a depression, why I feel myself so happy? So, and now I yes, I think that's the real unreal thing,
It
to
is.
feel
Yeah, it is.
to feel empty. It's
Yeah, it's the silence in the midst of all the noise.
yes,
Yeah. It's the emptiness in all of the full expression of whatever it is, right? Could be sadness, madness, gladness. It's in it's all emptiness.
yes.
Yeah.
Gracias.
Yes. Thank you for sharing that. Hi, Emerson. Can you talk again about contentment? Sure. Sure. In this apparent contentment, it's apparent, seemingly a radical acceptance from no one, of course, of everything that seems to appear. So even when there's preferences, it's also seen that preferences is a story. And there's nothing wrong or right about preferences, right? So in any single angle that you see, there's always going to be contentment, because even what seems to be discontentment is also allowed. So it's content on all levels is what's being expressed here. Whatever arises, whatever seems to appear, is what is. There's humility here in what's happening, has nothing to do with this character. It's just as is. There's nothing that a character can do. There's nothing the character can. Although the character will have preferences, stories, or whatever of what seems to be happening, it is what it is. So you can also say that there's an apparent surrender, although there's no one surrendering in the story. It's just a story, so it's just seen that the character is just a character. And there's nothing special about the character. It's not running the show. Hi, Emerson. You seem pretty enlightened. Do you consider yourself enlightened? There's never been anyone that's enlightened. Thank you. Hey, Kathy.
Hi. Hi again. You
Hello.
know, oh, here we go. Hello.
Hello.
Oh,
Uh,
hello. So what I wanted to say was, oh geez, I almost forgot now. Oh yeah, yeah. So what attracted me to this message was, you know, being a strict Catholic, being born with original sin, and making many novenas for forgiveness, and then getting into some touches with some gurus and doing selfless service and whatever. It was a lot of repentance,
yes.
a
Yes.
lot of repentance. So when I heard this message, it was like, oh, whippy, you didn't do any of that shit that you've been trying to repent.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
But yet at the same time, what happened, after this starts to sink in somewhere, even though there's no in and no outs,
Yes.
why I was trying to express this morning is like, it's like a tremendous loss.
It is. It is a tremendous loss. And there's even grieving sometimes that happens with
It's
this, right?
terrible.
Because it's everything that's believed, everything that's longed for, everything that's desired
No,
doesn't
I
really
want to
matter
go.
anymore.
I want to go back and repent. I want to take out the rose. I want to get down on my knees and scrub the ashram floors. Do you understand?
Yeah. Yeah. But
It
there's
was
no,
taken away.
yeah. The specialness of seeking
It
is taken away.
wasn't even being special. It was like I needed to work my shit out and
Not
all.
you, but the
I
specialness of seva, the specialness of
oh,
all that kind of stuff is it's kind of like it's kind of like you love the fantasy, you don't like the documentary. You like the fantastic, you know what I'm saying? And there's nothing wrong or right about that, right?
no, it was like something you were holding on. You could hold on to.
Oh
You
yeah,
had to
yeah.
work something off. You had to do it because you did it. You got to pay for it. You see, like pay the
Yeah.
time, and you can't do that
it's
because
like
well,
it's
you're not.
like it's just Jesus take the wheel. Someone else
Yeah,
is driving it for you. Buddha
that's
take
why
over.
I know. I know it. That's
And all the saints in the novena, Saint Cici,
there's a
Saint
missing of
Avila,
that.
Saint this, Saint that. It's I remember my mom has this litany of saints, you know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
of
Pray
course.
for us. And there's just kind of like, you know what? Wow, you know what? It's being done for me by saints. By saints.
Yeah, yeah,
All I have to do is
yeah.
scrub the floors.
Yeah, there's a part that misses it. I'm sorry. There's nobody here, but I know there's nobody here. But yeah,
I
it's like
tried that
it's all
so
out of
I
your hands. It's totally taken out of your hands.
oh yeah. When
I want it in my hand.
when there was this encountering of this communication, guess what I did a couple of weeks later? I flew to see some guru because I wanted to be a disciple because I was petrified of this communication. I'm like, someone please make me a disciple. I want to fall in love with a guru, thinking like I just want to serve the guru. Of course, when I went to the guru, I was like, "Ah, I don't feel
Yeah,
anything. It's
yeah,
like you're kind of like wanting to have an arranged marriage with what I'm
yeah.
saying. It's like
Oh yeah,
I don't want to fall in love. You know what I'm saying? It's just
yeah,
you just want the want to be taken care of. Is just it's or the being a disciple. Someone take my power away from me, but there's no power anyway.
yeah, yeah. There's nothing
It's
to be taken away,
there's nothing
and
to
there's
be
no one to
taken
take
away.
it from.
But in the dream, sometimes it's a nicer dream, for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? When you think that someone is steering the wheel for you, and you're just kind
Yeah.
of like in the back seat, but really no one's even driving. So it's
Oh,
kind of like, you know what? I know that there's nothing I can do, but can somebody do it for me? Can the
yeah,
saints and the
please,
sages send it?
please.
But you see
Yeah,
right through it now, though, right? There's a seeing through that. That's also, you know what? That's just suffering. That's just
That's
suffering.
just dependency, codependent, it's just
Dependency,
a dependency.
codependency, and then they're really
Yeah.
convinced that they can help you, and you don't even know if they're just really kind of like scamming you. Because there's so much gullibility, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
in this stuff. Um,
Well, don't get me started on what the priests did.
oh,
Oh my gosh, they toppled their hierarchy quickly. Oh, when that all came to light. But yeah, just saying, like there was something. I know I've said this to you before. There was something even about the ritual, light the candle,
yeah,
get the incense, the champa. There was
yeah,
something. Stick it in the rice. There was something all about ritual too that
yeah.
was.
It's again, it's that idea that there's something sacred and holy, and
Yeah,
it's that preference, right, of being taken care of, the preference of someone lead me the way,
yeah.
because it's hanging on to that belief system that there is someone else. That's the grieving part. It can get really devastatingly lonely, you know what I'm saying, when, when there's no
I'm
doer.
trying. I can't.
Hello, are you
I
there? Can you
can't.
lead me the way? Can you teach me some practices? I know that it doesn't really matter, but
Doesn't matter. I missed it.
that's I didn't really, you know what, when the apparent collapse, saying there was nothing missed, but before that the oscillation, because there was already kind of like the belief was getting really really challenged, right? It was kind of like I was I think I was kind of like getting drunk at one point because I thought I lost all my investment in spirituality. Well, I there was no investment. It's kind of like you got scammed, and you really want it back. You're like, but I have all of this clout.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I have,
Yeah.
I'm special, but when it
Yeah.
keeps on getting seen that there's no one special, there's this longing for that specialness back. That's what I was trying to mention. This character
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
but it knew that that was just empty. There was just empty.
So sad.
It's a loss. It's a loss.
So sad.
There's a warning to this. This is a loss. This is not
Yeah.
an attainment.
I didn't heed the warning, obviously. And now I'm stuck.
Well, that's debatable because there's no stuck,
No,
but I know what you mean. There's just this. You can't go back now. You're like, oh damn it.
that's right. You can't go back.
There's someone
Yeah.
like you that I talk to constantly, and then he said that he goes, I tried I was trying to listen to some awareness, speaking, meditation, and I was just kind of like, damn it, Emerson, I can't listen to that anymore. I try, I stayed and was just cringing the whole time, the whole time that they were talking about it, and it goes, your allergy, what did he say, I got your allergies, you
Yeah.
infected me with the allergies of spirituality and awareness and everything. He goes, because there was this longing for that, I was longing for that satsang, of the
Yeah.
quiet and everything. And there's a guru that's kind of like screaming at you and instructing you what to do.
Yeah.
And there's this, it's almost like, someone that got in an abusive relationship wants to go back to that abusive relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
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 Hit the nail on the head there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So sad.
It misses the abuse. Yeah. You mean I'm free? And it keeps on thinking, but how about the rituals?
Oh shit.
Yeah. It's like when there's I used to you know this about this character. They used to work with this disadvantaged community. I used to work with a lot of women too that had a lot of abuse that would be in houses and everything, and then we would give them whatever what they need. Um, I think half of them go back to their abusive partner. They stay a little bit, you know what I'm saying, and you know it takes them a while to kind of like it's almost like, oh wow, you know what? I left that abuse, and then a week later, it just takes a call from this apparent,
Yeah.
the
You know
abuser.
nothing else.
You know nothing else, and you go back into it, and but I understand what you're saying, because that's what the other person was saying. It's like, you know what? It tried to go back to it. It gets the abuse
Mhm.
again, and then comes back to me saying that I got out of that again, Emerson. I went back to the awareness thing, and this kind of stuff. And there's this, and I was it was just abusive. and then and then comes back, and you're like laughing. Oh, just welcome back. I'm kind of like the halfway house. It's always open. The house is always open. There's no one here. It's always open. Welcome back. You never left.
Emerson's halfway house. I like it.
But it is true. It is true in the story anyway that there is this. It's just almost like a, you know what, that syndrome, Munchausen syndrome or something, that you
Yeah, yeah.
Stockholm syndrome is
Stockholm
when,
syndrome. Yeah,
and this when
yeah.
when you start
You
loving your abuser,
identify
right?
with your you
Yeah,
identify with the oppressor. Yeah,
the
of course.
oppressor. Yeah, and it's
Yeah,
and when I was a teacher, that was it. Like, it was just very codependent, like I thought I had the power to give, to help people, and there was just this messiah complex, and when that gets, into a narrative of I'm saving all these people, and then no one's
yeah.
really
Wow,
correcting you, you know what I'm saying, then you get into
wow.
this.
Intense.
It's intense. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
and
intense.
I see some speakers doing that now, kind of like that they have the power now, you know what I'm saying, and
That's
been
intense. Yeah,
been there, done that,
yeah.
12 years ago, what, got the suffering, so regretted it completely, in the story anyway, and now there's just this unconditional freedom. It's a halfway house. Free to leave and go. The abuse of spirituality.
Oh, well, thanks, Emerson. I'll stop in at the halfway house one day.
There's no one home. You're free to come in. But it's always home. Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Kathy.
Thank you so much.
Is
Thank
it?
you.
Oh, is it? Oh, wow. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for the reminder. Thank you so much, everyone. We're going to be taking a couple of
Bye.
hours break. Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Bye bye. See you at the breakout room, and I'll see you soon. Bye.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Emerson. Love
Emerson. Take
you.
care,
Oh,
mate.
love you. Love you.
Emerson.
Thank you.
Thank you, Emerson.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, mate.
Bye.
Thanks, Emerson.
Bye, King.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.